There's nothing more certain in a cyclist's life than spending months thinking about your next dream bike. Then, upon buying said dream bike, immediately realising you're not happy with it and deciding it's time for some upgrades. However, some upgrades are more important than others, so this list is all about the ones you probably don't need in 2021. Before we go any further, remember that just like cycling, this list is meant to be fun. So don't take it too seriously if you happen to have most of the upgrades on this list. We have many of them ourselves, and it's always funny how we manage to justify that next purchase as a must-have essential despite our better judgment. So if you're ready, let's get on with the list. Our first upgrade, and probably the most controversial even amongst BikeRadar staff, is anything lightweight. Yes, our technical writer and aero aficionado Simon Bromley is well known for his dogmatic approach to road bike upgrades, namely his steadfast belief that aerodynamic perfection should supersede any attempt to make your bike lighter. While this may cause some controversy, young Simon does have a point. Bar on the absolute steepest of climbs, the majority of your pedalling effort goes into pushing you and your bike through the wind. So it stands to reason most riders would probably gain more from doing some stretching and core work to optimise their aero position instead of spending hundreds on a fancy lightweight seat post and stem. But as we all know, stretching and doing core work can be boring, and it doesn't have Schmolke or MCFK written down the side of it. So we can sympathise with those who have taken the plunge into lightweight tech. Think we're wrong? Don't forget to let us know why in the comments. We've all lusted after a famous brand's top-spec superbike, as, let's face it, who wouldn't want to ride the best money can buy? That said, we're not convinced top-spec carbon will actually make you any faster. Unless you're trying to win Le Tour, we'd wager most riders would be better saving some money and going for the same bike, but in a cheaper carbon layup. There are some decent savings to be had here, as top-spec carbon bikes are typically far more expensive than their second-tier brethren, while only saving you a small amount when it comes to weight. And just think, you could spend those extra thousands saved on a training camp. Come the end of the season, which do you think will have made you faster? 2 weeks of solid, uninterrupted training, or 200 grams saved off your frame? We'll just leave that one there for you to think about. Smart trainers are amazing for making virtual cycling worlds immersive and fun. But if you've already got a power meter on your bike, you don't actually need one. A cheap turbo trainer and a power meter will get you most of the way there, meaning you can put your existing bike on an easy to store turbo and still get a few valuable laps of Watopia or wherever you choose to ride indoors. There are plenty of options out there on the market, many of which you can find reviews for on BikeRadar.com. Prices do vary, so have a look around for a model that provides the features you need to get the most out of your personal training experience. Now, we get the whole N+1 attitude to bike buying, but don't be fooled into thinking a full indoor smart bike is the only way to properly train indoors. Besides, spring is coming soon, so why drop hundreds or thousands of pounds on something you hopefully won't be using too much into the future? We've all seen those crazy, futuristic looking derailleurs on the World Tour. You know, the ones where there's a pair of huge pulley wheels sandwiched between the mech's lower cage. While you might not have seen them, we also all know that the average pro's bike is spinning on some rather fancy and thus expensive ceramic bearings. Now, the science is legit. Larger jockey wheels mean the chain's links have to bend at less extreme angles when they roll over them, meaning there's less friction and thus less energy loss. Likewise, ultra-smooth ceramic bearings can roll freer than your standard steel ball bearing. Once again, a cutting friction is your friend. However, standard jockey wheels and steel ball bearings are already pretty efficient when well maintained. So even if we assume an outrageous 50% cutting friction, 50% of very, very little is still very, very little. As such, unless you're trying to win a 200km stage by a tyre's width, these pricey upgrades probably aren't going to represent the best value for money by a long shot. Our final choice is a slightly less controversial one: top spec pedals. Again, if you want to spend north of £200 to £300 on the lightest pedals around, then great, more power to you. But for around a quarter of the price, you can probably get an incredibly similar pedal with only a small weight penalty. Be it look, speed play, Shimano or time, most have almost exactly the same engagement system across their respective price ranges. This means despite being a wee bit lighter and having fancier bearings, they can often feel almost exactly the same when they're doing the job they're meant to do, pedaling. So if you're looking to save some money, it could be worth going for a more affordable pedal and spending your savings on something really important like, I don't know, a robotic hoover. What do you think to our list? Are there any other not strictly necessary upgrades that we've missed? Or are we totally wrong and should we all be going out to buy absolutely everything on this list? As always, we'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And finally, don't forget to like, subscribe and click that little bell icon so you get notified every time we upload a new video.